And then are we going to record? Okay. So my name is Carol Yeh-Garner. Thanks for joining us. I'm excited to have you all here and see some familiar faces. So I have been with Young Living since October 2013. But my story kind of starts before that. So I had heard about Young Living essential oils years ago, like when I was in college in the 90s. And I had looked it up and I had heard about Thieves essential oil, and I thought, like, well, I can't afford that much money for a single bottle of oil. Like, what the heck? And I just kind of like forgot about it for a while. And then as I got older, I had my kids, okay, so let me start from the beginning. So I got my master's in social work, and I thought, like, the dream life was to own my own practice, like be my own boss, make my own schedule, do everything for myself, and no one can tell me what to do. So I got my master's in social work and worked inpatient psychiatric hospitals, outpatient psychiatric hospitals, and then as a geriatric social worker, just to kind of get experience and stuff. And then I got pregnant, and the plan was to go back to work after my son was born, put him into daycare, and then he wouldn't take a bottle. And so there was no way that we were going to put him into daycare. And thankfully my parents said, well, we'll help you. They were going to pay for daycare. So they said, we'll give you the money that we would have paid for daycare, and you can use that. So we survived on that. And then I had our daughter, and she also would not take a bottle. And so I stayed home. And so then once she was a little bit older, I was looking for something to make a little bit of income. And I found a company called Once Upon a Family that was like a home-based party business company. And it was like these heirloom quality products that were, it was kind of like scrapbooking for dummies. Back when scrapbooking was like,
oh, I can't hear her anymore.
And I thought that doing these home-based parties was going to be like, oh, it'll be super fun. I'll get out of the house. I'll earn some money. But what I found was it was super awkward. I hated like asking people, like, want to host a party for me? And then they came out with a new product every quarter. So any little amount of profit that I made was going towards the new products so that I could have them for the parties. And then after probably like less than a year, I was like, I can't do this. This feels so cheesy and gross, and I don't like carting my stuff in and being like, okay, let me set up, and like, here's this product. And, you know, like, I liked the product, but I wasn't like in love with the product. So that was my first experience doing a network marketing business. I had been to lots of Pampered Chef parties, lots of Arbonne parties, lots of passion parties, and then like clothing things. And I always felt cornered by the business person of like, so what are you going to buy? And are you going to help your friend by signing up to do another workshop or party for your friend? And I would always buy like $40 worth of stuff that I didn't necessarily want, just because I felt like, oh, I want to help my friend like earn the free stuff, or like whatever, I don't know, and it's going to probably go in the trash and never be used. So I had that experience with network marketing. So then it really became time, like, okay, the kids are old enough, it's time now for me to like do what I had planned, like open up a private practice. So my kids were probably like 1.5 and 3 at the time. And I sat there and I was like, I can barely like finish a whole sentence, let alone how the heck would I even like sit there and listen to depressed people, stressed people, people that are like having marital issues, relationship issues, like work issues. Like I can't even finish a sentence because I have 2 kids under the age of 3. how am I going to do therapy? And then a friend of mine said, well, you had 2 great hypnobirthing experiences. Hypnobirthing is like this natural childbirth method. Why don't you go and teach that? And I thought, oh, yeah, I could totally teach that. That would be like in the evening. My husband's an elementary school teacher, so then we wouldn't have to do any kind of daycare. And it's working with like excited, happy people. And then it's the same content over and over. It wasn't like a ton of brain power, right? We're limited to 100. Oh,
I just saw that. Yeah, somehow we have a 100 limit.
okay. Well, it'll be recorded.
Yeah.
So, is it recording?
It is recording.
Okay. So then I was like, all right, I'll teach hypnobirthing. That is doable. Like it was like a 4-day weekend or something to get trained, and then things just kind of fell into place, and I found a place to teach, and then all of a sudden I had people. And when I started my hypnobirthing practice, I made it my mission to network with as many people in the alternative medicine field, because I wanted my name to be known as the hypnobirthing instructor of North County, San Diego. So I would cold call like acupuncturists, chiropractors, massage therapists, doulas, midwives, and just say like, hey, I'm a new hypnobirthing instructor in town. I would love to meet for tea and just get to know you a little bit better. So I would meet people, and then I had on my website a resources page, and I said like, if we meet up and, we resonate, like I would love to have you on my resources page that I give to all my clients. And so, I was offering them a chance to network, but I was also giving them a benefit by meeting with me, because then they would get free advertising, because every class that I had, I would give that resource list out to. And in hopes that by us meeting and me sharing their resources and us possibly having mutual clients, that they would then refer people to me, right? So it was like I'll scratch your back, you'll scratch my back if we mesh, and that kind of thing. So my hypnobirthing practice grew to the point that I was teaching 2 classes a week at night. I had full classes. I was turning people away. As I started doing more hypnobirthing, I learned about hypnofertility, which is a modality to help people dealing with fertility issues and getting through their blockages of getting pregnant. So then I got trained in that. So I needed office space for that. Because that was just like a one-on-one or one-on-me with the couple kind of thing. So I found office space for that. I was teaching classes, and then I loved hypnotherapy so much, I became certified as a clinical hypnotherapist. So then I had an office space to see clients and a place to teach my 2 classes. And I loved it. It was so rewarding, helping people get rid of their blockages, to live their life authentically, helping people be empowered for their birth experiences so that they could go into their birth experiences educated, knowing the kinds of questions to ask of whatever the setting was, mostly in the hospital. And I thought, like, this is what I was put on earth to do. Like, this is amazing. I will do this forever. And then it became more and more clear that, if I'm sick or my kids are sick, I'm not seeing clients. And with hypnotherapy, it's not like therapy where you're seeing people for a long period of time. With hypnotherapy, your goal is to have people see you a couple times every week, and then to taper off and have them not have to see you after like 6 or 8 sessions. So it was not ever, hypnotherapy was not ever like this ongoing income that I could rely upon. Plus with people's schedules and whatever, I'd ask at the end of every session, like, so when would you like to schedule your next appointment? And they'd be like, oh, well, I'm vacation this time. So it was always kind of like, I need this money. but I have no guarantee that this person is going to book next week or even, you know, continue to book sessions with me. So my husband's an elementary school teacher. At that point, his income was pretty fixed. It wasn't like they were getting raises at that point. And with our income together, we were probably making around $60,000, which was pretty good for what we thought, right? But we're living in San Diego, which is super expensive, paying for stuff on our credit cards. So we also had $60,000 worth of debt in our credit cards, and no savings for our kids' college, no savings whatsoever, like no emergency fund. It was constantly, which credit card are we paying late and which credit card are we paying now? And telling our kids, like, we don't have that in our budget, sorry. Doing the bare minimum of extracurricular activities for them so that they could be in a sport, but saying no a lot, taking like a yearly vacation that just went all on our credit card. And that was our life. And money was a stressor for us. It was an underlying issue for our marriage that we didn't talk about a lot, but we fought a lot about stuff, not about the money, but about stuff, just because both of us were so stressed about money. So in probably like 2011 or 12, I remembered about Thieves oil. Scott's a teacher. He's bringing back germs. Our kids were in elementary school. They were bringing back germs. And I was like, I remember that Thieves oil thing. Like, I should look that up. It's still like out of our budget. So I was like, I know. I'll just like Google what's in Thieves and like make my own. Like, I'll just go to the health food store and get like, that brand should be fine, right? So I just got health food store oils. It said 100% pure and natural on the bottle. So I was like, what's the difference? Like, why? I'm not paying money for some stupid MLM thing. Like, that's just a racket. They're just like hiking their prices up. I'm not buying that. I'm going to be smart and I'm going to make my own Thieves with like this legit stuff from the health food store. So I'd mix it up and we used it. And I even took it internally, even though like on the label it said not to take it internally. But I was like, why the heck not? Because the bottle says it's 100% pure and natural. So clearly it's just some stupid labeling thing. I will just take it internally. And so I did that for like a year and didn't really have like a huge impact on our health and wellness. So October 2013 came around and I was like, you know what? We're making enough that like I could afford a $44 bottle of Thieves oil, because like what I'm concocting is not really working. And so I started looking around for Young Living people, and in the birthing community, it was mostly doTERRA. So everybody that I knew that had oils that I contacted, they were doTERRA. And I was like, no, I don't want to do doTERRA for whatever reason. Like my brain just is like, stick it out, find somebody that does Young Living. So then I was on Facebook, and my friend Melissa Kohler, who is a photographer who I knew through the natural birth community, had a post on social media about like the new kit now comes with a diffuser. And I was like, okay, well that's Young Living. I'll contact her. So I contacted her and I was like, I just want Thieves. That's it. Like, don't try to sell me anything. Like, I got your number. Like, I know you're doing this like MLM thing. So she's like, okay, well, Thieves is this much. What do you want it for? And I told her, you know, we want to keep our health and wellness up as high as possible with Scott and the kids, with the elementary school exposure and all that. And she's like, you know, you probably would really love having a diffuser just so that you're diffusing Thieves, and that will help, you know, everybody's immunity stay strong. And I was like, well, how much is that? And then so she gave me like wholesale retail price and then wholesale retail price of Thieves. And then she's like, well, you know, there is this thing called like the premium starter kit, and it's this much, and it comes with, I think at that time it came with 10 oils, the diffuser, and it was like 100, I think at that time it's 155. So for me to pay retail for a diffuser and Thieves was not a huge jump to pay 155 for a kit. So he's like, okay, well, is there a catch? Because I'm not buying anything every month and I'm not doing the business. And the reason why I had asked that is because I was getting Juice Plus supplements. Along the way, I learned about Juice Plus. Our kids didn't eat a lot of vegetables. We didn't eat a lot of vegetables. So it's like, yeah, Juice Plus, awesome. We'll get their supplements. They have gummies for the kids. And I was signed up on their auto ship. So I had a closet full of gummies and capsules because we were not religious in taking them every day. And I was like, ugh, you know, like you have to buy every month, otherwise you lose your discount. So I was like, I'm not getting stuck in one of those like scheme things again and like have a whole closet full of stuff I'm not using. So I was like, I don't want to have to buy every month and I don't want to do the business. Because my Juice Plus person would like call me quarterly and be like, okay, when are you ready to like have a meeting and let's write down like the 50 people you know that you're going to get on Juice Plus. And I was like, stop calling me. I'm never going to do the Juice Plus business. Please stop calling me. You're bugging the hell out of me. Stop. But she would just call every quarter and I'd have to say the same thing. So Melissa reassured me, like, you can buy the kit. You don't ever have to buy anything ever again. And you definitely do not need to do the business. And I was like, well, what's there to lose? It's 155 bucks. I'll get Thieves. I'll get the diffuser. The rest of these oils will just sit in a box, probably in the closet. Because I don't know, like, I just want Thieves and the diffuser. It's a good deal, whatever. And then she put me into a product education group on Facebook, and I started reading about all of the things that all of these other oils could do. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I just only knew about Thieves, knew about like lavender can be calming, but I had no idea that oils could help with sleep, they could help with skin, they could help with pain, they could help with like all the issues that we deal with every day. I still was not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do the business. But I thought like, oh, my sister could probably use this. My mom could probably use this. I thought of the people that could use them. Never intending like, I'll do the business. Just I would tell them about the product and if they wanted to buy it, whatever. So then Melissa knew that I had a really good hypnobirthing platform. Like I had a lot of followers for that. So she asked me like, do you ever like consider doing the business? And I was like, hell no, I'm never doing the business. No, thank you, nope. Done the home party thing, done the Juice Plus thing, have a closet full of stuff we're not using, and no. And then she's like, well, let me just send you my enroller's blog. So she sends me her enroller, who is Lindsay Moreno's blog, and it broke down her income that she had earned. So Lindsay started in February of 2013. She had a photography blog, and by August of 2013, she was making $5,000 a month. And I was like, hold up, like seriously? Because you know, when I was doing Juice Plus, when I was doing Once Upon a Family, I also belonged to like a skincare line from Australia that was like all organic. I just got the products, wasn't doing the business. Like you got the newsletters that were like, someone's like $1 million earner, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, right. Like that's like the one person that will ever do that. Or like they're making that crap up. So here is my friend Melissa that I personally know, and then her friend Lindsay that I don't know yet, who's making $5,000 a month. And I was like, well, she's probably making $5,000 a month because she has this photography blog, and like, I don't have a blog. But I was like, we are $60,000 in debt, and I have no way of getting out of that. The only way I could see getting out of that was if I worked weekends, and I didn't want to have to work weekends because I was already working 4 nights a week, not tucking my kids into bed, And I was like, I already feel enough mom guilt about that. There's no way that I can give up my weekends. And it wasn't like Scott was going to be able to like work more as a teacher to make like a significant amount. So we were just kind of stuck and looking for a solution, not knowing that Young Living was going to be the solution. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I love to share resources, and I just did have like a really great success story with allergies and using lemon, lavender, peppermint. What if I just shared a little bit here and there? What if I just shared a little bit with my hypnobirthing clients? Like maybe in like a year or two, I'll make 100 or 200 bucks a month. And like, that'll help us whittle away at our credit card debt. So I was like, okay, like, what do I need to do? Like, I'm not going to do this like as a business, but like, I'll like, throw a net out there and see what happens. And she's like, well, just, like post about that allergy success story. So I was like, all right. So I posted like the 3 oils and was like, yay, like I finally found something for my seasonal allergies. I've tried like acupuncture, I've tried homeopathics, I've tried herbs, and like nothing has helped until I used these 3 oils. And like that Facebook post like exploded. All these people came out of the woodwork and they're like, what is it? How do I use it? How do I get it? And I'm like, I don't even know like how to enroll someone. So I'm like texting Melissa, like, what do I do? And she's like, here's your link. And I had no idea what I was doing. But all of a sudden, all these people wanted it and they trusted me. Okay, so a lot of the people that were contacting me were my hypnobirthing clientele. And I thought we were Facebook friends. We kept in touch through Facebook, and they trusted me because I had walked them through and empowered them through the classes so that they could have an empowered birth experience, whether it ended up natural or whether it ended up in a C-section. They always felt like what I taught them, the content that I taught them, gave them the skills and the knowledge. So whatever happened, they knew that those were the choices that needed to be made. So when I started sharing about Young Living, they knew, oh, she would never promote something she doesn't truly believe or research. So whatever she's doing, I will jump on. So all of a sudden, I'm selling kits left and right, like off my phone and in between, making dinner and whatever. And my husband just would be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm answering her question. Oh my God, now she wants to like buy a kit. And he was like, what is happening? So I sold a bunch of kits that first month in October. A couple people that I knew that bought the kits, they started sharing also. And it just kind of started snowballing. Like we were all learning together and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing. What are you doing? And by the end of November, I was silver. So in Young Living, there's several ranks, right? Distributor, star, senior star, executive, silver. And I earned silver in 6. So silver in 6 is once you hit executive, if you hit silver within 6 months, then you get this aroma complete, which is like 120 oils. So I hit silver in 3.5 weeks, which was crazy. And by the end of November, I was on the leaderboard for this trip to Hawaii. So it's the first year that they had Drive to Win contests. And it was this trip to Hawaii, and they were only taking 60 people. It was to the Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood Farm on the Big Island of Hawaii. I had no idea how I got on the leaderboard. I was like in the top 300, like at the low point, right? When I had signed up in October, I saw in the virtual office that there was this contest to win a trip to Hawaii, but I was like, oh, there's no way that I'll ever win that because it started in August and I'm starting in October. the contest ended in December. I was like, there's no way that I'll ever even qualify. I didn't even look at like how you even qualify. I just was sharing on social media, following up a ton, putting people into our product education group, following up more, and then having people buy kits and then helping them fall in love with their product, getting them to see the value of essential rewards, and then getting them to see the value of sharing Young Living with their friends. So I was just doing that kind of like on repeat and reading as much as I could about products, reading as much as I could about the business along the way. So at the end of November, when I saw that I was on the leaderboard for this trip, I sat down with Scott and our kids, who were 7 and 9 at the time, and I was like, we could potentially earn a trip to Hawaii for free. But what that's going to require is that every waking moment that I have, I need to be on the computer. So daddy's agreeing to be Mr. Mom. Kids, you have to be okay with like me basically being like MIA. If we do this, we could earn this trip to Hawaii, and I figured like I would get a free trip. The commission that I would earn would pay for the flights for our family, and it would be a free trip for all of us, right? So they were like, yeah, Hawaii, heck yeah. So this is December, right? Like busiest month of holiday season, like people having their budgets already set, buying presents for Hanukkah and Christmas and whatever, their holiday vacations and all that. But somehow, I don't know how, I managed to earn this trip to Hawaii. So I'm like, out of 60 people, I think I was like 59. So in February of 2014, we got to go to the Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood Farm. I got to meet Gary Young. There's only 60 people there. So I got, FaceTime with him. We got tours of the farm. We got to like pick weeds and plant little seedling trees and learn how a Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood tree needs a koa tree because they work symbiotically, and how they only use the dead Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood trees, and how non-indigenous plants had come into this land and how they were getting rid of those non-indigenous plants, and they were hiring local community people to help get this farm back to the way that it was when it used to be in the property of the Royal Hawaiians, and getting it back into just pristine conditions with no non-indigenous plants. And everything was all natural, right? Like they had, I think, goat or sheep, like just wandering and weeding and all that. And I was just blown away by the amount of care that went into one oil. And then I realized what the difference was between our oils and the oils that are sold in the stores, right? Like nobody does what we do, what Young Living does in terms of what they do on farms to maintain no pesticides, no GMOs, low heat distillation, steam distillation to keep those molecules alive. Like it's crazy the amount of care that goes into our oils. And that's why our oils tend to be the most expensive, but they are also the most potent and therapeutic, right? So when I came back from that trip and I got to meet Gary and see his vision for getting oils into every home, I was like, this is a legit company. At that point, it had been around for, I think, like 20-something years. So it wasn't like this fly-by-night company. There had been, lots of time to develop this company. They owned their own farms. They partnered with other farms that would only follow their stringent guidelines for growing the plants and harvesting and distilling. So I came back and I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And Scott was like, you do this, go for it. And he was just kind of like hands off, but like yay, like, you know, I'll take care of the kids, you do your thing. So with every crack of time that I had, I fit it into my schedule. So my schedule was wake up at like a little before 7, wake up the kids, get them ready for school, walk them to school, come back, see some hypnotherapy clients, get prepped for my hypnobirthing classes or my clients, fit in whatever Young Living stuff I could do, go pick up the kids, take them to their after school activities, bring them home, get dinner ready, all sit down as a family for dinner, and then get ready for either teaching classes or seeing clients. And doing that, then coming home at like 10:30, jumping on the computer, waving at my husband, jumping on the computer in our office, and then working till midnight, 1 or 2 in the morning, going to sleep, repeat, and do that over and over again. So I knew that the momentum that I had was something that I needed to capitalize on. And I love sleep. I could sleep 11 or 12 hours, like not a problem. But I knew giving up sleep and giving up time with my kids and my husband for a short period of time was going to be worth it, because as I was growing, I was seeing what Melissa and Lindsay were doing. And I knew if I can follow their momentum and do what they're doing, I'm not going to just be earning like 100 or 200 in a month in like a year or two. I'm going to be earning like tens of thousands, which was like beyond what I could have ever imagined. So I was like, I'm willing to do whatever I need to do. And I would future cast, like, if we continue at this rate, I will become this rank by this point, and this is generally what my income will be. And I was like basically almost doubling month by month. And so I would just sit there with this piece of paper of like every month and have it like future casted out. And then I would cross out and like do the reality of like what that month would end with and what our commission would be. And I would sit there looking at this piece of paper in my living room, and Scott would be watching TV and be like, dude, like, do you even understand that like, if this is real, by this month, we'll be making this much? And he'd be like, ha, 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 you're right. And I'd be like, no, like for real, like what would it look like if we really made this much money? And we'd be like, oh my God, like we'd be able to pay off our debt. Oh my God, like we'd be able to do this, that, and the other. And we're just like, what? You know, like, no. But then like every month, sometimes I do what I predicted, sometimes I do more, and sometimes I would do less. But it's still like overall, generally speaking, I was growing every month. And our paycheck was growing, our team was doing well, and they were ranking up. So then I made Diamond in 11 months, which I was like, okay. Then like running and not sleeping. And like, that was for me, like if I could hit Diamond, because I was seeing like Lindsay, and then above Lindsay was this woman, Monique McLean, who's like my mentor. They hit Diamond in 11 months. And I was like, or they might have hit Diamond in 10 months, but I was like, I am gonna do this. And so I just was like, if they can do it, I can do it. Because like Lindsay, yes, she had a photography blog, but like she's an introvert. Monique is an extrovert. She like came from like bankruptcy, not enough money to even like put gas in her car to like go and visit her brother when he was getting married. Like they were selling everything. Like she was like an extreme couponer and like was doing that to survive. And I just saw these people with worse circumstances than ours somehow getting out of debt and being successful. And I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm just going to do it. And I just kept pouring into my team and helping them and then helping myself. And then it just was like this cycle. Like the more that I would help my team, the better they would do, the better that I would do. So I thought when I hit diamond, like that is amazing. And that is probably where I will stay. And diamond, I think like the average diamond gets about 15,000 a month, which is insane amounts of money, right? And then I hit diamond and I was like, well, what's keeping me from like going for it and going for Royal Crown Diamond? I was tired, but I was like, I can do this for like another year, like this kind of hardcore work. Because if we got to Royal Crown Diamond, like that would be beyond anything we could ever dream about. And because you can will this business to your family, like it would change the trajectory of like future generations in a way that like we can't even comprehend. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Back at it. And I hit Royal Crown Diamond in 27 months. And then I lost it for 5 months because we went through the summer. And then I had to do a lot of personal development to figure out how to get back to Royal Crown Diamond. So along the way, I had a lot of my hypnobirthing clients sign up as kit owners, and I helped them see how sharing about it wasn't salesy, but that they were sharing to help problem solve for their friends. So one of my first kit signups was my friend Stacy Malkus, who was a hypnobirthing client of mine. And she got the kit. She had actually been using doTERRA lavender with her daughter for years, and the doTERRA equivalent of Thieves. And once she realized that I was doing Young Living, she was like, hey, like what's the difference? What's the deal? And so then she ended up getting the kit and using lavender on her daughter, who at the time was, I think, probably like 3 or something like that, and was not taking naps anymore. And she used lavender and put socks on her little daughter's feet, and that little girl slept for 2.5 hours after not napping for like months and months and months. Hold on a second. My husband's like hovering over here, and I'm like, what?
Hi.
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Nothing. Go. Do you think?
So anyway, Stacy had this amazing experience with her daughter and lavender, and I knew Stacy had a platform. She had a lot of moms that were Facebook friends with her that had little kids, right? So my kids, when I started, were 7 and 9. Her kid was 3-ish or maybe younger, was involved in like Waldorf school, super like natural, crunchy families, right? And that she knew more people that had little ones than I did. And I was like, she would be amazing if she did this business. And I would ask Stacy, hey, ever thought about doing this business? And she's like, oh my God, I have no time. Like, are you crazy? Like, I've got my daughter. I have this like graphic design business that she had put on hold, like while she was pregnant with her daughter. And she's like, I'm so busy. Like, I don't even have 5 minutes of time to give up. And then I was like, well, can you just like post about the lavender thing? Because like, I bet you have friends that have kids that are doing nap strikes that would really, really benefit from knowing like lavender was like the key. And she's like, okay, fine. And I was like, I'll stalk your post and like answer your questions that come up, whatever. And so she posts about lavender and how her daughter finally took a 2.5 hour nap and had done that for like a week straight after not napping for, I think, like a year or something like that. And her post blew up. So I was helping her answer. And before you knew it, she's selling kids. And she's like, well, I guess I'm doing this as a business. Because I was like, well, I'm happy to take your people and like split the commission with you, but like I think you probably want the $50 commission yourself. And she's like, well, yeah, duh. And so she was like, okay, I'm doing the business, but like I have no time. But she just found the time. If it's a priority for you, you will make the time. You'll make the sacrifices. Now, not everybody is going to be able to do the kind of sacrifices like I made. Like, you know, if I had littler kids, I probably would not have been able to hit diamond or Royal Crown diamond in the time frame that I did, because I would have wanted to spend more time with them. But they were 7 and 9 and they were pretty self-sufficient, and you know, they were not the kind of kids that like wanted to hang on me all the time anyway. So it was fine for me to be like, here, Dad, like, take charge of the kids. And it was great because then they got more dad time than they had ever gotten. So people started using their kits, having success stories. I would encourage them to share. They would share. They would have people ask. They would get the commission. And before you knew it, we had business people that were growing and ranking up and doing this. So I had never been a leader in my life. I had, you know, led therapy group sessions when I was working as an inpatient, outpatient therapist. So I had that kind of experience, but I'd never been like a manager. I'd never been like an administrative, like head person. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just learned along the way and had people modeling what to do above me or cross-line from me that I would just learn and practice and try doing. So it was really, really amazing for me to see that I never felt salesy, because I always made sure I was doing my best to educate. And as a social worker, I just have that in me to want to help people link up with the right resources to help them live their best life. And so I was never salesy when I would share. It was never I never ended with like, contact me for more details, or like, let me know if you want a kit. It was always like, here's my story. Here's the success story. That's it. And then we had like this kind of secret way that we learned from Lindsay and Monique, like just leave it there. And when people ask for more info, tell them you're going to private message them, tag them, private message them in the comment, like, I'm going to private message you. And that helped the algorithm of Facebook to bump that post up so that people would get to see that post more. And then anybody that would want to know what the answer was, they'd be like, oh, dang, like, well, Carol told that person in a private message. Well, I want to know. And so then they would comment, right? And then that would keep bumping it up and getting more exposure. And then in the private conversation, we would do more relationship building. It wouldn't just be like, boom, 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 like, here's the answer to your question. It was more about like, well, what would you want to use oils for? It was trying to find out how I can help solve their problems and what in their life are they needing solutions for. So that's basically how we grew. At that time, we were taught like, never talk about the business, because like, that's just like so like typical MLM, like just organically help people fall in love with the product and then start sharing. And then by sharing, they will organically start doing the business. And things have definitely shifted nowadays, where I think more people are interested in some kind of side income. I think especially with COVID happening, that you just never know what is going to happen to your income. I know, Andre is on this call and Marceline are on this call. They had, corporate career jobs that they were giving their blood, sweat, and tears to, and got laid off with, no real notice. And they thankfully had Young Living as like a plan B to fall back on. So I think more and more people are wanting to have some kind of plan B of knowing, like, if anything were to happen, I've got this something happening so that I can at least take care of my family or take care of myself or whatever your situation is. And I think Young Living is different than most network marketing companies, but I think overall, my mindset about network marketing had to shift, because my experience with network marketing was like doing the home parties and feeling so gross about having to ask my friends, like, will you host a party for me? You know, I ran out of friends because you can only ask them to do that so much. Or going to somebody's party and feeling pressured to buy and feeling pressured to like have a party for them. And I was like, I never want to make my friends feel that uncomfortable or that pressure. And I never want to feel like I'm like a cheesy, like salesy, like, hey, come join my team. Let's like sit down and strategize about like the 30 people you're going to contact to get this business going. Like, no, that is not me. But I think nowadays more people want something. And so I think more people are leading with the business opportunity. And the cool thing about Young Living is these products that you start using are products that you will use for a lifetime. It's not like a weight loss shake. It's not like a supplement. It's not like just skincare or makeup or whatever that people are not going to necessarily buy on a regular basis, right? Like makeup, I probably buy makeup once a year. I mean, I know you're supposed to throw it away after a certain point, but like I don't wear makeup enough that I'm buying it every quarter. I use skincare, I use the Young Living stuff, but I don't buy it like every other month. I'm buying it probably twice a year. But there's so many other products within Young Living. It's not just oils, right? Like there's definitely an oil for everything, but there's so many other lifestyle products that help people live a healthier, less toxic life, that there is a reason for somebody to buy something every month. Like our subscription box that we get is filled with toothpaste, shampoo, lotion, acne cream for our teenage kids, conditioner, hair oil, you know, shave cream. Like it's not a lot of essential oils. Like I get oils probably almost every month, but it's like not the same oils. Well, we are getting Thieves oil every month because no one wants to run out of Thieves oil. And the whole network marketing concept, I thought was like this cheesy, like car salesy kind of thing, but I had to shift my mindset. And I read this book by Eric Worre called GoPro that really broke down network marketing. It is an entrepreneurial mindset that most people have not been taught. When we grow up, go to school, we're taught an employee mindset. You go to school, you're told what to do, you're told where to sit. Here's the homework, finish it, turn it in. Then we graduate from school and go into our job. We're told what to do. Here are your tasks. Here's your deadline. You get paid on this date. If you need to have a vacation, you have to get it approved. Here's what time you can go to lunch. If you have a special occasion that you need to leave work for your child or for a relative, you have to get approval or fake that you're sick. Like that's the mindset that we're taught, right? And stay in this career. You might change jobs, but you'll be in this career, invest in your 401k, and by the time you retire, you'll be set. But the reality is, I mean, like how many of you have money in a 401k? Like drop it in the comments, like yes or no. Enough to like, if you continue, are you going to be able to retire at age 65 and live the way that you want to live? Yes or no in the comments. You might have a 401k, but is it going to sustain the kind of lifestyle that you want to live when you retire? So there are people that saying, yes, they have, but not enough money, not enough to live the way that I want to. Yes, no. So to think about network marketing is to realize that there's a completely different way of earning money, that instead of me going and working for someone else or working for myself, right? Working for myself sounds like the dream. I make my own hours, I work for myself, but if I don't work, I'm not making money, right? If I take a vacation, I have just lost 2 weeks of income and momentum from those people that I said, well, sorry, I'm on vacation. Like they might not want to come back every week or whatever when I'm ready to come back. And then, you know, working for someone else, like, yeah, you might get your 3%, 5% raise or your bonus here or there, but that's always controlled by somebody else. And it's super competitive, right? Like if you have this great idea and you share it with your coworker might steal it from you, get the raise, get the promotion. And, you know, that's everybody in an employee kind of mindset and job. It's all for you. And you're not really there to like look out for your peers and your coworkers, right? So the cool thing about network marketing that I didn't really look at, like, yes, it's a pyramid, right? But every business is a pyramid. There's a CEO at the top and lots of people at the bottom. In network marketing, there's a pyramid too. The pyramid is your upline or you, and the people below are all the people that you have signed up and the people that below you have signed up. But the cool thing about this pyramid in network marketing is that anybody can start, well, everybody starts at the bottom. Whether you have a PhD and $1 million or 0 in your bank account and not even a high school degree. And whether you have no money and no high school degree and a PhD and $1 million, you both still have the same opportunity to get to the top rank. There's no special skill set that you have to do this business. I learned along the way how to be a leader by modeling what I saw from other people, by learning, by doing personal development on my own. I learned how to not be salesy, how to write a post that was hopefully going to draw people in. I learned how to build a relationship with someone via private messaging, you know, like that's not how life really works, right? But that person that starts at the bottom of a network marketing company can out-earn and outrank the people above me. So there are people above me, above Melissa, above Lindsay, above Monique, that aren't the highest rank, that aren't making as much money as we are, because they're just choosing not to do the business the way that we're doing the business. And they're fine. They're making a good amount of money and they're fine with what they're earning. So not in a regular employee mindset pyramid, it's really rare for the janitor to be able to become the CEO. But in a network marketing company, the person that starts as a distributor can make it to Royal Crown Diamond and pass up people in their upline in terms of rank and income just by doing the work. So that's fascinating to me. And then the other part that I love about network marketing is something I mentioned before. The more that you pour into your team and help your team do well, the better you do. So the way that our compensation plan is set up, when you have people that are silver and up, you make a chunk more money, a bigger piece of the pie. So it helps me to help my people, whether they're my personally enrolled or not, anybody in my downline. If I can help them rank up and do better in their business, that reflects in my check, which is not the way that a regular 9-to-5 job will ever be, right? Yes, you might make a bonus, and yes, your team members might make bonuses underneath that. But that's it's not a regular thing. With network marketing, especially with Young Living, because we do have consumable products that are lifestyle products that people are going to want to use every single month and replace on a regular basis. If you can get them to see the benefit of investing their money into our Essential Rewards program, which is like our loyalty monthly subscription box, instead of having to go to 5 different stores to get their shampoo here and their organic conditioner at that store and their, you know, whatever toothpaste they want at that store, have it all just shipped to their home. They're not spending more money. They're just putting the money that they would have spent buying it all at 5 different stores, and they get it all in one box shipped to their house. If you can help people see the value of getting their subscription box through Young Living, not only are they getting wholesale prices, but if they're on Essential Rewards, they're going to be earning back 10, 20, 25% back, right, in free store credit, plus all the freebie promo stuff that Young Living is so generous in giving. So it's better than a 5% red card at Target, right? It's even better than the discount that you get at Costco, because at Costco, you don't get the freebies. I mean, you don't even get samples anymore, right? So if you help people learn how to transfer their money that they're already spending somewhere else into Young Living products to live a less toxic, less toxic-filled life, then that is going to help you, right? Because if you have people that are buying every single month, then that gives you a general idea of money coming in. And that's the other great thing about network marketing, is you do the work once, sort of, and then you reap the reward month after month after month. Once someone buys something, you help educate them to understand the benefits of Essential Rewards. You help them learn about more products so that they can start to switch and ditch the products that they have in their home to healthier products. And then that helps you, and it helps your team, and it just keeps growing and growing, and your check keeps growing and growing because you're helping to educate people about living a healthier life, especially with what's going on these days with COVID and all the things, right? Like, we need people to be empowered about their health and wellness so that they can stay home and stay healthy and stay out of the doctor's offices, stay out of the hospitals. So the healthier that their bodies can be, the less toxic accumulation that is in their bodies helps their bodies perform better, helps their bodies stay healthier, helps their immune system stay stronger. So why wouldn't we want to share that with every single person that we know? With everything that's going on, especially, it is the perfect time for people to start learning about, like, what products do you have in your home? What products do you have under your sink? Because I bet you've got friends, probably even family members, that if they went under their sink, they've probably got 10 different toxic cleaners in that sink cabinet that they're spraying and breathing, their kids are breathing, their pets are licking their paws, and all of those toxins are going into their body, when they could just replace all of those 10 things with a bottle of Thieves household cleaner and not be breathing all that crap, not be exposing themselves to all the toxins, and help their body get rid of the toxins that we're continually exposed to in a way easier way, right? The reason people get sick is because of bioaccumulation. Our body is like a cup, and every day we're being exposed to environmental toxins, toxins in our food, toxins in our water that add up. And once they start overflowing, our organs can't function the way that they need to and can't clear out what they're normally meant to do. So then our bodies get overworked, and then they get sick. But if we're using healthier products, our organs can do what they're meant to do and keep us well. So it makes sense to me to do a network marketing business, because I'm earning income, educating and empowering people to take control of their health and wellness. I'm empowering my team to take control of their own financial future and not relying on their boss to give them a raise, to give them a bonus. I'm helping them to change the trajectory of their family, their own personal financial future, and the future of generations within their family. And the more that I can help them, the more it helps me. And I just, like, I don't know any other business model that does that. And we also get to share about an amazing, I mean, I think we have like 800 products now. I don't even know because I can't keep track and I haven't used them all. And I don't know everything about all of them. And that's also a beautiful thing. Like, I don't have to be a walking encyclopedia about the products or the business. I just know, like, I can send them to different places and give them a place to find that information on their own. So I'm an introvert by nature. I've learned how to be extroverted when I need to be, but I much prefer to not talk and sit quietly and not be in a group of people. But I've learned how to do that for my business, and it's become more comfortable for me. So I think when I started, I maybe had 300 or 400 Facebook friends, maybe 500 Facebook friends. And now I'm at my limit of 5,000. When I started Young Living, I was teaching classes to maybe 16 people. I've learned to get comfortable speaking in front of, I think the biggest amount of people that I've spoken to is a couple thousand. So you just keep learning, and it's so fun. I find it super fun to learn how to be a better person, how to grow and push myself out of my comfort zone, and keep learning about this business and new things to do and innovating and thinking of new ways to share and help my team find ways to grow faster and easier. So that's basically my journey. It's been a lot of hard work, and yes, I did it in 27 months. I would not necessarily recommend doing it that fast for every single person. It took a toll on me and my mental health. It took a toll on our marriage. But I can say now that we've worked on that and are in a much better place. But even if so there's 9 ranks in Young Living. Even if it took you 2 years for each rank to get to Royal Crown Diamond 18 years from now, the average income of a Royal Crown Diamond is, I think, over 100,000 a month, not in a year, in a freaking month, people. Like, there is no job that you will ever be able to do unless you have like a startup that like gets sold to like Jeff Bezos or something like that. Like, there's no job that in 18 years you go from 0 to over 100 grand in a month that you can will to your kids or to anyone, you know? So I really, really encourage anyone who's just starting or who's just looking into this as a potential side hustle, that like, this is a real thing. Like, I would have never thought I would have gotten to where I got to when I started, but I just kept working and kept believing in my team and myself and kept just putting the blinders on to all the naysayers of like, oh, you're doing an MLM. Like, oh, that's so gross. Like, why would you ever do that? And just like put the blinders on and just did the work that was necessary. And yeah, I think anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it, for reals. Like, I had no special skills. I was able to take what I learned as a hypnotherapist, as a hypnobirthing instructor, as a social work, and use that to understand group dynamics better for our team, to handle drama when it would come up a little bit better. I learned mindset stuff that then I would teach my team, but like, that's not anything special. Like, anybody can learn that stuff and teach that stuff. So anybody that is just starting or thinking about doing this as a business, I really, really encourage you to talk to whoever gave you this link or who you enrolled with, and just really start future casting and dreaming way bigger than you would think to dream for, because what you can accomplish is just freaking beyond what you could ever imagine. And like, knowing that every day our team is changing lives for the better, like, that's a reason to just wake up and like jump around every single freaking day, to know that like every day I get messages from team members or kit owners about like, oh my gosh, this oil just changed my life, or oh my gosh, like, we were able to like pay this bill off, or, you know, buy our dream house, or pay our mortgage off, or whatever, buy organic food for the first time, you know, like, knowing that we're doing things to change people's lives like that way is the best, most rewarding job that you could ever have. So I've been talking for a long time. Anybody have any questions or have anything else you want to ask, that you want more information about my story? Feel free to unmute yourself or throw it in the chat. Right now there's, I think, 50 Royal Crown diamonds. Diamond, Crown Diamond, and Royal Crown are like the top ranks. And I think that there's like 300 or so like diamonds and up. So there are people that have hit Royal Crown Diamond with no social media, but it was before social media it was even a thing, and they just went around in their towns networking with people, gathering people together and teaching them about the products, about the business. We've got a Royal Crown Diamond who lived in a really, really small town. The whole town income level was like below poverty level. And their Wi-Fi, like internet, was like 1 bar. And she somehow managed to get to Royal Crown Diamond because, again, she just networked. She traveled and met with people and worked on her business and grew her business. And she had like no friends on Facebook when she started. So, okay, got some questions. Could you explain level up for me? So level up, double up, is that what you're asking? Or how to level up to the next business level? Level up, double up is a promotion that Young Living is doing. You sell 2 kits and get those people on essential rewards, and you earn your level up gift, and then double up, or that might be the other way around. You sell 4 kits, get them on ER, and then you get the other gift. Level up, double up. If you're talking about how to rank up and get to the next level, there's a whole compensation plan that breaks it down for each rank, what you need in each rank, in each leg or team, and the overall volume that you need. So definitely, if that's your question, talk to your enroller or your upline silver person to get a breakdown so you can start strategizing about how to structure your business below you so that you can hit the ranks. You think learning aromatherapy would help my business? No, I don't. I mean, if that's your passion, go for it. There are different schools of thought. So you'll hear a lot of people say like, we'll never, never go to someone that's not an aromatherapist to learn about oils. Okay, well, where are they getting that from? They're getting that from their aromatherapist friend who went through aromatherapy school, who got a piece of paper that says that they're a certified aromatherapist. Yes, learning aromatherapy will give you a lot more sciencey background in terms of constituents and what they do for the body and that kind of thing. Do you need to know that to be successful in a Young Living business? No. I know monoterpenes, sequesterpenes, and I know how to say them. I don't know what they do. You don't need to know all of those things. You just need to know the basics about the products and what they can do for people and how they can problem solve for those people. And sometimes when you do go and get that aromatherapy certification, it makes it not duplicable for other people to see that they can do the business. Because if you know all this sciencey stuff and you know what the sequesterpenes and the terpenes and the whatever, then they're going to be like, well, I don't know any of that stuff, so I could never do the business. So part of helping people see that this is a doable business is showing them that it's easy. Because it is. Like, there's resources galore. Like, you absolutely do not want to be the walking encyclopedia where everybody is coming to you and being like, what do I use for this? What do I use for this? I used to want to be that person because it made me feel good, right? It's an ego stroke to me to be like, I know all the answers. But I want to be able to point them to the resources so they can find the answers on their own, so they don't have to feel like they have to be the walking encyclopedia in order to be successful in this business. So the other thing about an aromatherapy certification is, like, yes, you get that certification and that piece of paper, but there's no governmental agency that is overseeing the certification of aromatherapy programs. So yay, you get this piece of paper that says that you're an aromatherapist, certified aromatherapist, but what does it really mean to anybody besides you? It might give more credibility to somebody else, but most people don't really care about that. When someone wants to do the biz and get their kit, now what? What should they do first after getting their kit? I think anybody that wants to do their business, once they get their kit, they need to learn 3 uses for each oil in that kit, so that anytime they're out and about, they can address somebody's issue with an oil in the kit. And to be able to have that ongoing conversation off to the side privately with the person who's interested in using oils, finding out what they're needing oils for, and showing them the value of getting the kit. So they should know that. They should know how they're getting paid, and they should know that they have you to get support from. And hopefully there's a business group and a product education group. Christina, I know you're on our team, so we have that, but I know there's some people on this call that aren't on our team. But get those people that are wanting to do the business into a business education group so that they have resources. And then I would find out, like, what their goals are for their business. How much time are they willing to put in? What rank is their dream rank? And help them strategize according to the amount of time that they're willing to put into the business, to see, okay, so that means if you want to be here, then this month you need to sell this many kits and get this many business people, help that many business people get to star, that kind of thing. Someone asked earlier about market saturation. Many people are using Young Living products, and folks are wondering if there's enough potential clients. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, so Young Living, for sure. There's a lot of people using Young Living, but I still run into people who have no clue what Young Living's about. And I still have Facebook friends that have been following my journey, which is now 6.5 years now, that come out of the woodwork and just out of the blue contact me, and they're like, hey, I'm ready to get a kit. and they've never commented, they've never even liked any of my oil Young Living posts, but yet they're watching and learning. So while it might feel like there's saturation, if you really look at all of the people that you know, there's no way that every single person is using Young Living yet, right? Like, there's a way to print out your whole Young Living friend list. And when I did that, it was super eye-opening to see how many people that were on my Facebook friend list that weren't using Young Living yet. And even people that are using doTERRA, I see those as my warm market, because I know that when I do a side-by-side smell test with doTERRA and Young Living always wins. So I see anybody who's using doTERRA or any other oil brand as like my warm market, because they already are using oils. They're loving oils already. It's just my job to educate and share and help them see the difference between Young Living and whatever brand they're using. And Young Living is opening markets all over the world. So there's definitely not saturation in all of those markets. In the international markets, the team members that we have that are growing, yes, it's hard work because they're starting from scratch, and there tends to be a lot of issues with shipping and customs and just logistics and stuff like that. But if you can just keep at it, those countries that are just opening or have recently opened, those team members are doing phenomenally well. I don't have a lot of team members in Malaysia, but one of my friends, Jody Meshik, has team members in Malaysia and the Philippines. And like, these are people who live in a third world country and have third world income and are now hitting diamond. Like, that's freaking life-changing and amazing to think that these people that were living a third world country life of poverty are now making a diamond income. And, you know, and they have a team of people that are not diamond, that are still making life-changing amounts of money. So the reality is that we need to shift our mindset from thinking that this is saturated. Yes, you might have a lot of Young Living people around you, but you might meet your new friend in the grocery line store while you're in your mask out there waiting or whatever, right? And that might be your new rock star person that you don't know. Like, stop thinking like, this is my group of friends and that's all I'll ever draw from. I have people that I've met in this business that are doing this business and killing it that I didn't know 6.5 years ago, that I didn't even know a year ago. But somehow somebody sent them to me or whatever, or they found me. I'm not a big social media, like, I have a social media presence, but I'm not a big influencer. I don't have people on my Instagram like contacting me and wanting to know about oils. Like, I'm not enrolling like that kind of a situation. Like, I enroll maybe 1 to 2 people a month now. I'm not a, you know, blogger, influencer, any of that kind of thing. And so if I can do it, you can do it. So definitely there's no such thing as market saturation, because if we really want to get oils in every single home in the world, like, how many people are in this world? How many people do you know? The gap between who we know and who is in this world is humongous. And so that just means we have so much work that we can do. We have so many people's lives that can be changed. Okay, I'm working on being more outgoing because I am too a quiet person, pushing myself to speak more and seeing that I'm more comfortable with talking to people than before your Young Living journey. Yeah. So the amount of personal growth that I've had building my business and getting up the ranks has been unlike any amount of personal growth. I don't think I did personal growth before this, you know? And what I find in this business is that you grow up And once you get to a certain rank or level and you stay there, it's because you have personal growth to do. You have to grow as a leader or as a person, or you have to grow in terms of a lack mentality versus an abundance mentality. There's something in your mindset, in your psyche that you need to work on in order for you to level up, to get to the next level, to build, to grow, and to help your team grow. So I love that, Isabella, that you're seeing that you are learning to be more comfortable. This is not a natural thing for me to be like this animated and outgoing. Like any of my friends know, like when you hang out with me, I am not like, hey, what? You know, like it's a rare thing. Like I'm just usually chilling in the back. But I know, and I learned how to do this, right? I've learned that in order to engage a crowd, I need to move my hands around. I need to speak more loudly. I need to make sure that my voice is going and changing in terms of not talking in the same quiet voice tone all the time. And that's what I've learned how to do over the years. How did you stay organized before your team's very big? I am not organized. I have no organizational skills whatsoever. Everything when I first started was on a spiral bound notebook, and I would just write like, these people contacted me, or these people liked the, my posts, and I would follow up, and then I'd like, go to the next page and fill that up, and I'd go to the next page, and then I'd like look back and be like, oh crap, I haven't followed up with that person. I thought trying to do like a spreadsheet of keeping track of who were kit signups, who were interested people that I added into our product education group, and then when like a column of when they bought a kit, and then like a column of like when they signed up for essential rewards, and then a column of like when they turned into a business person. And it was good for a while, but I'm not consistent enough in doing that. So I have no idea how to stay organized. I just wing it, and somehow it worked out. Don't know. Sophia, do you still do hypnotherapy? No, not really. When I've done workshops that have guided imagery, that's doing hypnotherapy. When I do coaching calls with team members or groups of team members doing mindset stuff, it's kind of hypnotherapy. But it's really, really cool because it gets to the subconscious level of your brain, and it helps you just kind of shift the programming that we've put in there that tends to be the blockage reason for our growth. And instead of doing therapy where you're just like talking and talking and talking, and you might have insight, it's not going to change the behavior because the behavior is programmed in the subconscious. So that's why a lot of times with therapy, like you'll learn better ways of thinking, better ways of interacting, better ways of fighting with your spouse or whatever. But when it comes to the moment of fighting with your spouse, your brain is going to automatically go to that old programming. And then afterwards, when you're calm, you're going to be like, ah, crap, I did it again, or whatever. I should have known better. I should have done what I learned in therapy. But it's because it's the subconscious mind that controls all of the things. And we got to get that subconscious mind to switch. So that's why I loved hypnotherapy so much, is because you could just like get to the issue right away, help the person right away. And it wasn't like this year-long process to make like a little bit of progress. It was like first session, boom, 2.5 hours. Here's a 45-minute hypnotherapy, done. Like, okay, next, then like peel off another layer every time I saw that client. And then usually by like 6 or 8 sessions, the onion has been peeled and there's not much more stuff. Okay, so there's no additional order they need to make that same month. Okay, so for level up, if they signed up, but they signed up for and used that order as their essential rewards order, that should have qualified you for the level up, right? That's right? 2 orders, 2 new signups on Essential Rewards qualifies you for level up. So if you didn't receive level up, go ahead and contact member services and they can help you figure out why. Okay, Lynette says, I've been doing the biz side for 3.5 years, average 2 to 4 kit sales a month, which is pretty on point and average. When I get new biz people that either sell 5 kits their first month and then nothing, or people that struggle every month to sign people up, what would be your best advice for them? Sometimes it's hard to relate since signing up people isn't an issue for me. Any advice on how I can help them better? So I would want to find out what they think is the blockage for helping get people signed up. So one of the things that I learned way late in the game through Eric Walton's downline leadership training, highly recommend that. If you are senior star, executive, or silver, I highly recommend signing up for Eric Walton's downline leadership training. Teaches you how to be a leader. We aren't born with this skill set. And one of the things leaders do versus managers, because none of us should be managing our team, we should all be leading our team. So the difference between a manager and a leader is going to ask open-ended questions of their business people to help them figure out what the solution is. And a manager is going to tell that person, here are all the things to do for you to sell a kit. And then that person's going to be like, well, okay, Carol said I should go and teach more classes and reach out to blank many people and do this and do that. But they're not going to feel committed to it. They're going to feel obligated to do that, right? And so most of the time they'll do it kind of half-ass, and then it kind of doesn't continue. It's not a consistent thing. And then they're not doing anything, right? Because then they don't want to follow up with you because they're like, oh, I don't want to follow up with Carol because she told me to do all these things and now I'm not even doing any of them. I'm like, so forget it. I just won't even, I'll just not even build or whatever. But if you're asking that person open-ended questions of, okay, so what are you doing to share? What are you doing to build? How are you sharing the business opportunity? And if they tell you all those things, hopefully you're going to get another little piece that then you're going to also ask another open-ended question. So if they say, well, I've been doing all these classes, but no one's showing up. What are you doing to invite people? Well, I'm just sending them the link to the class. Okay, so how is that working for you? Well, I'm not having anybody show up for my classes. Okay, so what can you change to make that more personal? Like, I know that the answer is they need to be more relational with the people to make sure that these people know why they should attend this class, not just send them the link and just be like, I think this would be a great class for you, right? Like, I need to show them the benefit of why they should spend their time away from their family, away from whatever they're doing, to spend this hour in my class. But if I'm just telling my business people, well, you're not being personal enough, or like, you need to be more personal, say this, say that, say this, they're gonna be like, well, okay. But if I'm asking them, how are you engaging them to get them interested in your class? That's a different interaction there, right? And that's gonna make that person think, well, what am I doing? Oh crap, I'm not doing anything. How do I need to up my game? What can I do, right? And your job is to help them figure out the answer on their own. So that would be my advice, Lynette, is to talk to each business person that said that they were excited and find out, like, what are you struggling with? What are you finding the blockages? How comfortable do you feel selling? Because maybe it's their own blockage that's getting in the way. So lots of those open-ended questions to just kind of figure out for each individual person, like, what is the issue for them? Kiana, did you ever teach classes on a regular basis? Yes, but not, unfortunately not for my own growth. when I started, I had so many new people wanting to do the business that I would teach their first class for them. And thankfully, they were mostly local. So I was doing 2 or 3 classes a week for them for their first class so that they would know how to do a class and they wouldn't have to feel super awkward inviting all their people to their first class. And then unfortunately, I didn't do a lot of teaching for my own personal friends. So not a lot of my personal friends have become kit owners. And now it's just weird because now they don't want to be kit owners because they think it's, I don't know. So that's just a weird side thing that happened. Okay, Aubrey, thank you. When you began working with your hypnobirthing network, did you start incorporating oils in your practice? Share info, testimonials. So when I first started hypnobirthing, I didn't know about oils. So it was my last year or so that I was teaching hypnobirthing. So I had a diffuser in my class, and there was one class where I'd share about resources, and I would pass out that list of resources of all like the doulas, chiropractors, acupuncturists, like breastfeeding consultants, like all of those people that I would network, and I would share that, and I would give them a brochure for Young Living. And I would say, like, anybody that wants to have a diffuser in their birthing environment, like, let me know. There's lots of products for pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. I'd be happy to add you to my product education group. Just let me know after class. And so I had a lot of people asking me that way. So that's how it just was like in the classroom when we would do the hypno part of hypnobirthing, the hypnosis part. I would turn the diffuser on, and when I'd walk over to the diffuser, I'd be like, so I'm going to turn on the diffuser, and we've got stress away in there, or like I'd alternate between stress away and peace and calming. And I'd be like, you know, this is going to help anchor you. So if anybody wants any of these oils, the diffuser in your birthing environment, just let me know, because the anchor of this thing while you're learning this will help you in your birth process. So I just kind of like slipped it in there. Okay, Anna, I wish I could unmute myself, but kids are screaming in the background. Posting consistently about 80% of your life, 20% about how you see oils, and following people, talking to people in groups that you have things in common. What else could I be doing? It feels like this isn't enough. I'm in New York trying to put together an event. Isn't going to fly with people here. What else can I do to push harder? Without really knowing your situation and me not being able to ask you open-ended questions, it's kind of hard to answer. I think on the East Coast, it's a little more challenging than on the West Coast here in California, just because the mindset of people is not as open to a holistic lifestyle as it is on the East Coast. But I do know a lot of people that are very successful on the East Coast because they are educating their East Coast friends about the basics of a healthier lifestyle. So I would maybe switch, instead of talking about oils, and talking more about a healthier lifestyle and what that means, to switch out your laundry detergent and not have toxic chemicals off-gassing on your body 24/7, about switching to, you know, Young Living toothpaste or whatever it is, instead of just, hopefully you're not only talking about oils, but also thinking about like who in your circle of friends are not oily, not Young Living users, and what solutions can you provide for them? What are their issues? So that you're starting to speak to their issues, and not just sharing your own personal testimonials, but like really starting to educate, knowing like, I've got friends who have no kids that aren't using Young Living. What are the topics that I can share with them that will help draw them in? I've got grandparents but have a completely different set of issues, you know, that generation of people in my friend group that aren't using Young Living, what products do I need to start talking to grab them? And maybe just having classes to draw in and focus on those pockets of people instead of doing more of like a blanket, like 80% of your life, 20% of oils. Like start thinking about your target markets. Who haven't you reached, and start talking to them. Yeah, Jenny said, I still smell fabric softener when I walk out my front door. There's still plenty of people that need to be educated. And yeah, this company has grown tremendously, especially with COVID, right? Since 2013, this company, well, before 2013, let's do a history lesson. Young Living had been around for about 20 something years. They had been growing about 3% to 5% every year. They would tell their farms, plant 3 to 5% more so that we can stay, you know, have enough supply for demand. And then 2013 came, and Lindsay Marino, who's above Melissa, and her enroller Monique McLean, they changed the face of Young Living. They started using social media and graphics and targeting the mom market. Whereas before, Young Living was very much like an MLM, very mom and poppy. The average age of a distributor in 2013 was 56. And they had a very small amount of their population actually doing the business full time. So 2013 hits, Lindsay and Monique start using social media, Facebook, graphics, targeting the young mom scene, and the company grows, I don't know how many percent, but beyond what our farms could handle and beyond what our website could handle, hence why we're getting a new platform in the fall. Thank goodness, praise hands all the way. So consistently since 2013, we've grown and skyrocketed. And in these last couple of months of COVID, the company has grown insane amounts. Like my OGV, my overall group volume, my highest amount was November. Black Friday was always like the biggest month historically. And then it was like, then everything would drop. And then it was like, maybe by the end of the next year, I would be kind of around where Black Friday was. And then Black Friday would hit, and then it would drop, and then it would kind of be like catching up. But historically, my highest OGV, I think, was like 8 million in November 2019. And then March hit, and we got slightly over 8 million. Then we've hit 9, 10, and 11 million over the last 3 months, which is bananas. And so many people ranking up, which is amazing. So there's this program called Silverbound, which is helping people get motivated to hit ranks and giving people bonuses. So that, along with COVID together, I think was like a great, unfortunate thing to happen, but it was perfect timing for our company because people are wanting to take control of their health and wellness. So yeah, there's no stopping this company. I mean, we've already got 26, 27 years. We're buying more farmland. We're partnering with more farms. I mean, the goal for Young Living is to have 100% of our products, our oils, sourced by us, not having to partner with other farms, and just having our own farmland. But until then, they're partnering with farms all over the world. We're bringing in new farms every year so that we can keep up with the demand. What do you suggest for those of us that are so fearful of taking the leap? So, Jennifer, what is the worst thing that could happen is what we tend to think, right? Like, ooh, I want to do this, but this and this and this, and like, I'll fail, and everyone will think I'm a failure, and it's awful and I'll be humiliated. But what's the best thing that can happen? Okay, you fail, but like, did you ever learn to ride a bike? You failed a lot to learn to ride a bike. And you kept getting up because you knew the outcome was worth it. You knew that being able to ride your bike to your friend's house or whatever was going to be so fun and so freeing that you did it anyway, right? You might have gotten hurt along the way, but you did it anyway. So instead of focusing on the fear, change the fear into excitement. Change the thought process of like, oh, if I fail, I'll be a failure. You are not a failure. Just what you tried to do failed, and use that as a jumping point to learn from that failure so you can figure out, what can I do differently? John Maxwell has a great book called Fail Forward. John Maxwell is amazing. Failing forward is a goal that we should want to have. And the woman who started Spanx, her dad would sit down at the dinner table and ask the kids every day, what did you fail at today? And they would have to report what they failed at, because he wanted his kids to get comfortable with failing. So instead of thinking, oh, I never want to fail, I'll just stay in this comfort zone. Let's all fail. It's scary, obviously. It's pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Yes. And think of the benefit that you will have. Think of, if you have kids and you fail and you keep trying, what is that going to teach your kids? Do you want to model for your kids and for your team, never try, stay in the comfort zone, stay in the safe zone? Or do you want to model for your team and your family, just do it anyway? Be scared. It's okay. You're okay. It doesn't make you a failure. It just makes the thing that you tried a failure in that moment, and you're going to use it to learn how to switch it and tweak it and make it better so that you can do it a different way. And maybe that time will work. Or maybe the 20th time of that iteration of something will be the thing that, like, bam, that's the thing that makes it work. But I hope that you can, instead of being so fearful of taking the leap, that you can switch it. And we're all going to have self-doubt. Even the most confident person that seems the most confident is going to have self-doubt. And if they don't have self-doubt, they're narcissistic. And nobody wants to be narcissistic, right? Like, do it anyway. Self-doubt is a good thing. It keeps you in check, but don't let it control you. So think about, like, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and growing, because who wants to live a life and die just safe and comfortable? Like, I want to die and know that I lived my life fully, that I left a footprint on this earth, that I did something that somebody might look at and be like, damn, that was good. Good for her. You know? I want my kids to be able to look at me and know, like, she worked damn hard and that paid off. I don't want them to look at me like, oh, she played it safe and she never did anything scary, because that's what they're going to do. And I want them to live life fully. So that's what I would suggest, Jennifer. Okay, how do you talk about present Infuse the business opportunity with people? How many of your friends right now are strapped for money because they can't work? I would talk to them personally and say, hey, I know with all this virus stuff that you haven't been able to work much. You ever thought of joining me with my team of Young Living? Because I would love to have you on my team. And maybe send them a little video. We have that video on hello-essentials.com/check it out, all one word, that talks about how an executive income in Young Living does outperform a 401k with 100k in it at retirement. so that one of the admins can throw that in the comment. So yeah, I wouldn't even infuse it. If I have someone that I know that needs this opportunity, I am inviting them to the opportunity now directly and letting them know, like, I want you on my team. You would kill it. And I will walk you through this, hold your hand, step by step. Let's do this because I know that this could be life-changing for you. No shame to that game. Like, I'm going to claim it. This business is life-changing. Why not just lead with that, you know? How do you recommend following up with people so we aren't overdoing it? Should we offer the product to everyone that likes our posts, or how would you go about that? Nope, I wouldn't offer it to everyone. I wouldn't do samples. I would follow up privately and start having conversations with them to find out what their needs are and find out what they've used and find out how that has been successful or not, and then show them what Young Living products would be helpful. Not just private message and give them, whoa, Young Living. Like, no, that's salesy. I'm gonna have a private message with my high school best friend and be like, oh my gosh, like, how are you? I haven't talked to you in freaking 20 years. Like, what's going on? Oh, I see you've got, like, you know, stalk their Facebook page. I see that you've got like 2, you know, daughters. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, what's going on in your life? That's how I'm leading the conversation. And then, even if they have commented and wanted to know more info, I'm not just vomiting Young Living to them. I'm building a relationship and starting a conversation with them so that it's a back and forth, not just me like, here's the Young Living stuff, want to buy it? So that's how I would recommend not overdoing it. And always kind of think like, what can I present to this person to give them value? How can I further educate this person? What can I give to this person? Like, that whole idea of servant leadership is something that we aren't taught. And so when you're working with your interested people, like, be that servant leader. Find out how you can serve them and help them and solve their problems for them, and learn more about their life so that you really have a bigger vision of what's going on, instead of just like, here's a Band-Aid, here's a, you know, here's this product, here's this product, here's this product, because that does feel salesy from you and to them. Okay, so
Carol, I'm going
online
to-
leadership, Eric Walton.
Carol,
Yeah.
I am going to soon stop the recording, but you can keep chatting for as long as you'd like.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I want to get through the questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Suggestions on getting former members back to using oils. New Englanders are very difficult to change. Yeah, so I would follow up, you know, not knowing, I would first ask you, what have you done already to get former members back to using oils? But since I don't have time for that, I would want to reach out to those people and ask them, hey, how you doing? What's going on with all this COVID stuff? Like, what are you doing? How are you handling things? How are you hanging in there? And start that conversation. Not leading with oils, but knowing that oils is my intention, as well as checking in with them and finding out what's going on with them. And if you know that New Englanders, East Coasters are harder, more challenging to change, again, think about who your target market is and what is going to help them or break through that barrier that you can teach them, that you can give them, that you can serve them to help them see the value of the products. So it always just comes back, there's no real like blanket answer, you know? It's a personal one-on-one with each person and drawing out more information from that person, building that relationship with that person so that you can figure out the specific things for that person. How do you like to go about educating people about healthier lifestyles without scaring them or offending their current way of life? I am not concerned about scaring them. And I would hope that the way that I present the information about laundry detergent or fragrance or whatever is eye-opening for them, that they're like, oh crap, like I had no idea. Because before Young Living and even while in Young Living, like, there's a lot of stuff that I've learned that I didn't know, right? And once we know, then we do better, right? And so if you come from a place of sharing that, like, I didn't know this before, but now that I know this, I need to scream it from the rooftops and share it on social media, that you need to get fragrance out of your life because of this, this, and this, and this. I had no clue. And I was using all the things, and I was using Febreze and, like, you know, the fabric softeners that kept your clothes staying fresh for 3 weeks or months now, you know, thinking that that was not even an issue. But now that I know, like, I need you all, I need all of my people to know that these are dangerous and that you have a choice. And here's a product that you can use that would be better for you. So I think if you just come from an authentic place of knowing, like, hey, I used to use crap. Like I used to use store-bought oils. Now I don't, right? So until you know, someone taught me about that, right? I had to learn about it from somewhere. I've given samples, made up little rollers for so many people, but they never buy a kit. I don't know if it's me, if I'm missing something. Yeah, I used to give samples a lot too, thinking like, oh, it'll be great. But I don't know many people that, like, one little sample typically changes their life. Yes, like Stacy had that lavender experience with her daughter. But most people, for one thing, most people aren't consistent with using oils, right? If you give them oils, they're not like us. They're not going to use it every day, all the time, throughout the day. They're probably going to use it like once and be like, well, it didn't really work. And then it's going to sit there and maybe like try it again like 3 days later once. So samples for me, I've changed and not given samples anymore, and just kept building the relationship and showing them the value of the kit and showing him how I'm using the kit oils for our family and how they can use the kit oils for their family. So maybe try that. Okay, I'm in Queens, not getting a whole lot of interest from people that would want to spend money on being healthier. They seem pretty happy buying cheap oils and pretending to be healthy. Greenwashing talks don't penetrate their stubborn ways. I can preach about how I use lavender, peppermint, and bam, everyone has a CVS peppermint and lavender. So they hear me, but they aren't hearing me. And they know that I sell Young Living oils. So if you're there, maybe ask personally, contact those friends that are buying the cheapo oils and tell them, like, hey, I know you're getting these oils from CVS or Target or whatever. Would you mind if I sent you just a sample of the oil that you have of the lavender and doing like a side-by-side smell test? I'll send you just like a tiny little sample. So when I used to teach classes for my business people, I had a doTERRA lavender, doTERRA peppermint, and a Now and an Oracacia lavender. Now and Oracacia, like store-bought brands. And I would pass around each oil, and then when it came time for lavender, I would do all three, the Now, the Oracacia, and the Young Living. And I'd just say, like, okay, do a side-by-side smell test. And 99.999% of the time, people were blown away by how different the lavender smelled and how different the peppermint smelled. because doTERRA peppermint tends to smell like a candy cane, and Young Living peppermint smells like mint. And lavender, side by side, ours smells like lavender, and competitors' lavender smells synthetic and like chemical smelling, more like the lotion and the fabric softeners and that kind of thing. And so when people can smell them side by side and smell the difference, it's really, really impactful. So maybe that's something that you can do, Anna, is just offer them and just be like, you know, I used to not think there was a difference, but if I send you a little sample, will you just do a side-by-side smell test and let me know what you think? That might be something that might show them the difference and show them the value of buying the real thing. And also like reaching out and just being like, hey, you know, you're my friend and I love you. I just want you to know, like, if you're using those store-bought oils, you're probably putting synthetics into your system. You're breathing them in and you're putting them into your bloodstream if you put them on topically. And I love you too much to let you keep doing that. Like, let me send you a sample so you can do a side-by-side smell test and use ours for, you know, a couple of days instead. Okay, what have you done? She sent them samples. They love it. What next? So if you sent them the samples, then I think it's more about showing them the value about the kit and personalizing it so they see that the $165 that they're spending on the PSK is worth spending instead of whatever they're spending. Okay, how can an introvert, shy people who are not on social media, no friends network, build a team? Well, it's definitely going to be more challenging. So Esther, are you saying you have no friends? 0 friends. You know nobody. Because I would find that pretty hard to believe. Because if you're in this group, you need somebody to get the link. If you're on this call, you're probably a kit owner, probably doing the business. So, do you know no one, or is that just in your head? You don't have to be on social media. There's an app called Life Steps that our upline Monique McLean made available to us. Talk to your upline leader, find out that has tons of great resources. Business resources are available if you upgrade, but the upgrade is not super expensive. So you can use that to share resources and educate people. People still do Zoom calls, so you could do Zoom calls with the few people that you do know, family members, and ask those people for referrals, right? There's no reason to think that just because your friend network is very, very small, that you can't grow, because all you need is one person that knows the person that knows a bunch of people, or somebody in your very small circle of friends that is the one that loves to share and talk and be the extrovert. You probably have somebody like that in your life. So it's just about finding the right people. You don't have to be the one that's the huge enroller and whatever, but if you can get team members that are extroverts or are sharers or that are well networked, then that helps you, right? So the name of the app is called Life Steps. Okay, any other last minute questions? We've been on the phone on this for 2 hours, so. I've been on a yoga spree on Instagram, gained 100 followers last month. I won something from a company that sells lava bead bracelets that you can place oils on, so she gave me a discount code to see if having these bracelets on you all the time, including outside, can help people feel better. Been using the oils for outdoor yoga because you can't diffuse outside. It makes me feel better to know I can smell. A major symptom of COVID is loss of smell. Would anyone like to get this company and code for supporting this business? Thanks, Sunny, for sharing that, but we're not gonna promote that on this call. But I think, you know, you just never know who you're going to meet up with. I think that's a great example of networking and partnering with another company on Instagram, and that can get you more followers. And so, you know, start building relationships with other people on social media if you don't have a following. There's a great gal named Jasmine Starr on Instagram. She shares a ton of free tips on social media, but one of the things she recommends is to start conversations with people on Instagram of who you would love to have as your ideal client. So they might not message you, but if you keep commenting on their posts, they're eventually going to keep seeing that this person keeps commenting, and then they might reply back, and eventually maybe they'll friend you, and or maybe you DM them and start talking to them about something not oily related, but to build that relationship. Offer her something or offer him something of value, not Young Living, but just what can you do to help them gain more followers, which might help you gain more followers. So, you know, think about those opportunities that might be there, of those I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of things, or who you can build relationships with. She says, like, spend time every day commenting on those dream clients' Instagram so they start seeing you, so that eventually maybe they'll follow you and want to learn more. Okay, I think that's it. Any other last minute questions? Her name's Jasmine Starr. All one word, I think. Okay, I think that's it. Yael has left the building. She's, I think, the one that turns the meeting off. So thank you everyone for joining. Thanks for those of you who stuck around. And I hope that hearing my story helps you see that, that you could do the same thing that I did. And that if I can do it, you can do it. It's all about just having the vision, failing forward, keeping at it, and never giving up, and pouring into your team, giving them resources, innovating to help them figure out newer, easier ways of building and growing. Okay, so you're welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Carol.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Everyone, this has been recorded. So for those of you who want to share it with your teams, all the shift leaders will be plugging it into their business groups. It might take a minute to get it. Just be patient. It'll be up within 24 hours. Carol, thank you so much. If anyone wants to unmute and say thank you, blow her kisses, celebrate her. We're so lucky to have her.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you.